Hey Saber fans, welcome to part 10 of how to build a Graflex, and this is the season finale. We're done with the Graflex building when we covered this last thing, which is very important to our build. It is changing our sound fonts. Now the reason why I have my Saberforge Redeemer here on display today is because I want to explain some basic things regarding sound fonts. Some companies like Saberforge, they're older models. This is a 2016 Redeemer with a Saberforge Crimson soundboard. Now, what that means essentially is that it has one fixed power on, power off, fixed hums, swings, and clash sounds, and it doesn't have a flash on clash effect because it's not a Nano Biscotte. It is its own thing. So that's one thing, and the other thing about it is that it has a I don't know how to explain it. I'm going to call it an onboard configuration menu. It does not have a retractable memory card, so you can just keep the switch held down and you can cycle through the menu and adjust your lightsaber to your preferred preferences. So that is how the Saberforge Redeemer works, at least the 2016 version. Now I know that they can also be edited. The new Saber Core 3.0, I think that's what it's called, I'm not sure. So let's get this aside. We built a Graflex with a Nano Biscotte version 4 soundboard. Now the Nano Biscotte soundboard from Plectro Labs, as is with all soundboards from Plectro Labs, sorry about that, geez. Well, all of these soundboards have the ability to bear a memory card with interchangeable sound fonts. The Nano Biscotte version 4 has the ability to cycle 3 sound fonts: light meat, dark meat, and gray meat. Now, if you want to go with dark meat in all of your 3 cycling sound fonts, you can go for it. You can have 3 dark side sound fonts. You can have 3 gray meat sound fonts or light meat. It is a matter of personal preference, and this is why I like the Nano Biscotte. So if we unthread the pommel and we expose the back end of our Graflex, we can see our let me just put some light. We have our chassis with our kill key, which spins to activate the lightsaber, and our Nano Biscotte, which is butted up in such a fashion that we can click the memory card in and out of position. So I just do that, and I have very thick fingers, which is very difficult, but the Nano Biscotte is positioned in such a place where even my thick fingers can actually get these small SD cards out of place very easily. So let us activate our lightsaber and go over our stock sound fonts, and I will show you how to change them on the computer once I've displayed what we have. So when I turn on my lightsaber, my preset default sound fonts were these. There are 3 sound fonts. The first one is this. This is its boot up sound, and when we ignite the lightsaber, this is the one with the very low-pitched humming sound and swing effects. Flash effects. And that's sound font number 1. If we press our activation switch, we wait for the 2 beeps. And this is the second sound font, which I believe is the gray meat. I'm not sure, I could be mistaken, so let's spark it up. This one is more lively, more, it is more interesting than the previous one in my opinion. And then we cycle to sound effect number 3. And this is, I believe, undoubtedly the dark meat sound font, judging from the power on sound. This would be very sick on a dark side lightsaber like Vader's or Count Dooku's or Sidious. And if we twist our kill key, make sure that our lightsaber is off. These are our 3 stock sound effects that we have in our lightsaber. Now, I'm going to go onto the computer and I'm going to show you in just a bit how we can change these sound fonts. I have my micro SD adapter. When you buy a memory card generally from any store, these usually come with the memory cards. This does not come with the Nano Biscotte version 4, so I do suggest that you pick one up. It's not very hard to find. They're everywhere. You're going to be needing this for your computer, but if you do have a memory flash drive that you can put your SD card inside, I have one, I think. It's very old, but I prefer this. I have a laptop and it has a it has an adapter for this. It has a slot for this adapter, and we're going to be working on our sound effects and change them over there. So without further ado, let us make our way onto the computer and let us get to changing our sound effect. Okay, now we're on our computer. I'm going to guide you basically and show you some of the basic steps and some things that you need to keep in mind for the sound fonts. So if you see these weird languages popping up and about it's not a virus, it is in Greek. So let us go onto our internet browser. I have mine as Google Chrome because I prefer Google Chrome. So basically I'm going to go onto SaberFont, which has been preset, and you're going to go to saberfont.com. Type that up. I don't know if my software is going to zoom in on this, but www.saberfont, it is encrypted here. You can see it. So I have been, I'm already logged in. Sorry about that. I'm already logged in, and what I'm going to show you guys is that SaberFont is the place where you can buy your interchangeable sound fonts for your lightsabers. Now we can hold up to 3, but if you guys want to have like 4 or 5 sound fonts, that's okay. But remember that you can only have up to 3 on your board at one time. So if you want to interchange, make sure that you make room. And I'll show you how to interchange your sound fonts as well. So one thing about SaberFont is that it has 2 main differences when it comes to soundboards. So you're going to go to your search over here. I don't know if you're following my mouse. And we're going to be typing in Graflex. And we're going to be hitting enter. And here we have a variety of Graflex sound fonts. Now, one of the things that you want to pay attention to is that you may see one specific sound font and you will see it twice, like the episode 7 Graflex sound font that you can see here from Lord Blaco, or the Graflex 3 sound font from Shamim. So what the difference is the one in green here, as you can see, is for the soundboard that we have, the Nano Biscotte. If you have a Crystal Focus 8 or a Prism 5.1 soundboard, it belongs to Plector Labs as well, company, if you will. They are the same manufacturer. Nigon Electronics, like the Spark 2 soundboard, are the ones inscripted in red. So you do not want to download your Graflex 3 sound font and download the one that is for the specs for the Nigon Electronics, or it will not work. This is why you have 2 different companies to choose from. The one is here. Oops, sorry about that. The one is here in the green, and the one under red is, they're 2 totally different things. The one in the green is the ones that we're interested in. So for my preferences, for now at least, I'm going to go with 2 sound fonts. Since we have 3 sound fonts and 3 trilogies, I'm going to be going for Graflex 3 for my prequel trilogy sound font preferation. My Graflex 4 for the original trilogy sound fonts. And for a later date, I'm going to go for the Graflex 8 which is a very cool sound font from Juan Sith. So what you do is essentially you go and you can buy them. But if you want to preview your sound fonts and you want to make sure that what you're buying is something that you might like, you may hear a clash or a swing or a power on or a power off that you may not like. You want to preview, of course, before you purchase. So what you do is when you go and click on the icon of the sound font, you see a little button pop up that says Quick View. Click on that and a window will appear where you can see here optimized. You can see it has the Toast Tech logo for Plectro Labs, and this is the one that we're going to be using for our Nano Biscotte version 4. So there's a play button over here which you can hit, and there is a video on YouTube that basically has a little preview of these sound effects that you want to implement on your board. So when you hit play, I'm going to stop talking so that my voice doesn't get mixed, so you can hear what sound effects is going to be replayed here, so we can see what we're going to buy. That might be a little too loud. Sorry.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Okay, I guess that you get the idea. We're not going to play the whole thing through, but it basically displays all of these sound effects that are featured in this sound font. So what you do, you go to add to cart and then you pay via PayPal. Now I already paid for mine and I have downloaded them. So what happens is that when you pay for it and you download it, if you have a account, that is, unless you don't have one, then you can fix one with your email and some basic shipping information. Nothing gets shipped to you, but essentially you can, some new notifications which we're going to check much later. But the thing is that you can check for these, you can go for your download list. The site will guide you. Don't worry, at first I panicked, but you can't get lost. You cannot miss it. Once you pay for it, you will get your sound fonts like I did. So what happens, it is in a zipped file format, and you're going to need to unzip it with WinRAR or WinZip. So when that happens, we're going to be going to our download folder. So this is how it was downloaded into these two zip format files. So I unzipped them and they became these two folders, and when we go into them, they have two files they have the exact same sound effects for a Mac format and for the rest of the Windows formats. And since I have Windows 10, I'm going to be going for the Graflex 4 remastered V8 Gold. Okay, so if you're new to this and you see all of these things, you think to yourself, what is going on here? Okay, so since we have a Nano Biscotte version 4, it's not going to be registering blaster sounds or stabbing and spin sounds. What our lightsaber is going to register are the boot sounds, one boot sound actually, and specifically the one that is written just boot. If you delete boot or rename it something else and you are left with boot 2 as your default, the lightsaber, when you turn your kill key around for the lightsaber to boot up, it will not replay that sound. It will not play the boot sound. So you want to make sure for the boot file and the power on and power off files, you want them to be named as they are. You can see that there are multiple power on sounds, but the one that your lightsaber is going to be activating is the one that is written like this. So if you want to interchange them, all you have to do is rename the file that you want as power on, not power on 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C. You get where I'm going with this. So there is a variety to choose from, and basically all you can do is you can make a you can copy this to your desktop, or you can copy this and you can choose which ones you want to go for in your SoundFont, on your soundboard in your bank. So I did the same thing for my Graflex Revenge of the Sith sound effects, and the same story goes on here. The Nano Biscotte can register up to 16 swings and clashes, which is great, which adds a greater variety to the lightsaber. If you've seen other lightsabers where you can hold on the activation switch and it has this lock-up sound, unfortunately, or at least in my case, I don't know how the Nano Biscotte can do that, but I'm pretty sure that the Nano Biscotte doesn't do it. I really have forgotten the manual. I have to check it again. But the thing is that other soundboards like Crystal Focus 8 has a lot more features, and that's why it is pricier than the rest, but it has a lot more features than the Nano Biscotte, for example. So if we take our micro SD adapter with our SD card loaded on and we put it on our computer, we have our Nano Biscotte. Right here now, we're in the Nano Biscotte itself, and you can see it has 3 files and 3 folders and 3 files. You do not want to mess with these text files. Okay, you do not want to mess with override, prefs, and revision. Just don't mess with them. You don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. Unless you really know what you're doing, okay, that's up to you. If you screw something up, it's all on you, not on anyone else. But you do not want to mess with these preferences and these text configuration files, essentially. So when we go to Bank 1, this is the first sound effect on our stock sound effects. Now here, you have a configuration file. Essentially, these are all the functions of your Nano Biscotte when the SoundFont is booted and your lightsaber is live. So unless you, this is how you mess with the, this is when you regulate the sensitivity, the flash on clash, volumes and stuff. But the thing is that I'm pretty happy with the presets of the lightsaber right now, so I'm not going to be messing with the configuration file. But essentially what I want to show you, where I'm going with this, is that the config file here is how you configure your lightsaber via computer. My Saber Forge Redeemer can be done manually by hand and not by computer, but this is done by computer. So that's the basic difference between my 2 lightsabers. So when we go out, this is our Nano Biscotte, and what I'm going to be doing is we can hold up to 3 sound fonts. I'm going to be keeping the dark side sound font because I like it. That's the only stock sound font I'm going to be holding on to right now. So by the time I get my new Graflex back end and my pin for my Graflex, I'm going to be showing off hopefully the 3rd sound font, but that's for another date. But what I will show you guys right now is the sound effects that I have for you right now. Now, this is my folder. These are the 2 downloaded sound fonts that I have, and in this folder here, Nano Biscotte version 4 modded, are the sound fonts that I tailored to my personal preference. As you can see, there are a lot less folders here, and essentially it has everything that I want. I have 1 boot sound, and if you go to the, let's say, this is the Graflex Revenge of the Sith downloaded file that has more boot up sounds, so I decided to go with just 1. The rest I didn't implement into my lightsaber. So I'm basically going to show that off on the bench when we return. So you can also just drag and drop everything into your Nano Biscotte, but remember, the boot sound and the power on and off sound need to be they need to be like, I don't know how to say, they need to be pure. It needs to say power on, power off, and boot. It will not work if it is boot 2, 3, 4, A, B, C. It will only work as boot, not even boot 1. It's supposed to be boot. I tested it when I was messing around with my sound fonts to see how the lightsaber works, but you do not want to
name it something else, or the Nano Biscotte will not register it, will not recognize it. Your lightsaber will not boot up with the sound. It will work, but it will not boot. And the same thing goes for the power on or power off. You will not hear the sound effect of the lightsaber. Now, since these are in WAV formats, you can listen to them to see what they're like. So you just click on it, and you can hear how they work. So this is power on number 1. I didn't like it, so power on number 2. It reminds me of my Saber Forge Redeemer. I'm sick of the SoundFont. Let's see what power on number 3 has to offer. And this is exactly the one I wanted. So what I did is when I put it onto soundbank number 2, I think, yeah, it's soundbank number 2, I took this file, I copied and pasted it into the folder that I wanted it in, and I just removed power on number 3. I just removed the number 3 here, and it became my default power on ignition sound effect. So with that in mind, what we're going to do now is we're going to take these, copy. I'm going to copy this. Okay, you're going to go copy, paste, mine is in Greek. So we're going to go to our soundboard, which is here, Nano Biscotte version 4. And I'm going to delete these because I already have a backup folder in my computer, and it's good if you have a flash drive to just put them on and store them in case you lose the SoundFonts, because you already paid for them, so you want to be very careful. So I'm going to delete these. No problem, that's it. And I'm going to be going for my Nano Biscotte version 4 modded, which is the one that I tailored for my lightsaber. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it onto my soundboard. So since the files are small, it's not going to take too much time. And that's it. It's real quick. And we're done. So we have successfully configured our Nano Biscotte to the preferred sound fonts that we want. You can choose whatever sound font. It doesn't have to be a Graflex sound font at that. So if you want to use any other sound font, saberfont.com is full of various artists. You can go for it. You can check what you like, download it, buy it, and configure your soundboard to your liking. Now, without further ado, let us get back to the workbench and see if this how the lightsaber works with our customized sound fonts. So I'll see you guys there.
Okay guys, we're back on the workspace and we have our Nano Biscotte's SD card into our adapter. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove that and we're going to install it back into our board. Nice and easy. Click that in place. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to twist my kill key.
This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
And this is bank number 1 from the Graflex 4 sound font that we downloaded. And it boots up nicely. Alec Guinness's timeless quote became a remarkable and unique boot up sound for the lightsaber. Very, very appropriate for the Graflex 4 and very appropriate for a classic original trilogy Graflex sound effect. So let's spark it up and see what it's like. Flash it. Very classic. I like this a lot. A beautiful sound effect for the original trilogy lightsabers. If you want to go with a Graflex sound font represented by the entire original trilogy, I think Graflex 4 is the best one yet. You can go with Graflex 5 or Bespin, Hoth, Dagobah, which are all from the Empire Strikes Back, but I prefer the Graflex 4 because it is timeless and That's that. So let us cycle to the second sound font.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
And that is the Graflex 3 sound font from Revenge of the Sith, and this is of course going to be representing the prequel trilogy sound effects. I like this boot up sound. So just like the preview, let us spark up this lightsaber and see what it sounds like. Ooh. A beautiful humming effect. I like it a lot. Now let's swing it. Beautiful. What a beautiful sound font. Now, unfortunately, right now, due to some circumstances, I'm not going to be using the Graflex 8 sound font. I'm going to be showing that off when my back end comes with the lost pin that I ordered. So, what I wanted to show you guys evidently is how to interchange your sound fonts. That is something very simple, very easy. If you know how to navigate files in your computer, you should be fine. But heck, you build a whole Graflex by yourself. I don't think, especially in the 20th century, that there's anyone that cannot configure their Graflex. Am I right? Oops, sorry about that. So guys, that's that. We have successfully changed our sound font. I'm going to twist my kill key, and that's that. The third sound font is the stock dark meat sound font from the Custom Saber shop. So you've heard that already. Basically, guys, that's it. We've built the Graflex. We've configured it. We have started from nothing. We started to sticking the grips on the flash gun itself. We fixed everything and it works perfectly. And now I can say that this series has come to a complete finish. I'm very happy. It was a very fun ride, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I've seen some activity in my channel lately, and I'm very, very grateful for you guys that you took the time to watch my videos, even if it's a few views at a time. I hope you found my series useful, and if you have questions, feel free to interact with me. If I didn't explain something properly in the videos, I'd be very happy to explain. I'd be very happy to interact with you guys. And in case I can't even answer anything, there are a lot better YouTubers out there, like East Coast Sabers, who has his video series, which mine is essentially based from, but my main difference is that I have summarized it into a much smaller video series, that is. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to inspire rookies around the world. You saw me screw up live. I didn't hide anything. The only edits I did was so we could save time, or otherwise this would be a 10-hour video series. But all in all, I consider this a success. I didn't have any outward help aside from some video series, especially let's pull the Graflex one. But this is it. If you've reached this point, you have successfully built your lightsaber. So I'll see you guys in the next video, when I'm going to be well, I'll have replaced the lost Graflex pin, and I will have the back section of the Graflex configured to A New Hope, and we'll get to that in a bit, and hopefully I'll have my blade by then as well. So without further ado, I'll be signing off, and this isn't the end of my content. I will be posting some more videos. I'm going to be more of a Star Wars YouTuber right now. Building a Graflex was just one of the things that I wanted to show, and I'll see you guys next time. So thank you for watching, and take care.